Hello, Blazers. Welcome to episode 128 of UAB Green and Told, original debut Monday, July 15th, 2024. This podcast gives us a chance to share stories from members of the UAB community. Check out previous episodes of UAB's most listened to podcasts by visiting alumni.uab.edu/greenandtold on Spotify or the Apple Podcast app. And while you're there, leave a written review so more alums can listen in. I'm Greg Berry, a UAB alum and Director of Communications in the Office of Alumni Affairs. UAB has long had an entrepreneurial spirit that is hard to match. Even before the school got a gift to name the J. Frank Bearfield Jr. Entrepreneurship Program in the Collat School of Business. Today's guest knows that well. If anyone can be a student of entrepreneurship, Olu Ogunbi is your guy. For years, he's embraced the spirit and delved into what makes the experience rewarding.
I found myself studying biographies on successful entrepreneurs, and that journey for me was just about what was something that came more natural to me, something that was more aligned to my interests.
And as we'll learn, that led to one thing after another, balancing school, work, and creating new things.
Entrepreneurship is a journey. It's no guarantees, but it starts from somewhere. My first foray was Art-Field Appeal, and it gave me the sense that confidence that, hey, I can start something from scratch.
And now Olu is embarking on a new entrepreneurial experience, one he's hoping makes it big and maybe can even sit along with some of the greats.
So we like to think that our current flavors are our original Coke, so to speak, and Pepsi. So we love to get our products to that point.
Creating a new brand isn't as easy as rolling out of bed and brainstorming ideas. There's a lot to consider, especially when you're trying to enter a beverage market. Once you have an idea, you need to research, formulate a plan, come up with a recipe, and then produce and distribute. That's the journey Olu Ogunbi is currently on. But to understand more about his longevity, you need to know about his heritage, his background as someone who is the son of two physicians.
They're originally both from Nigeria, and they immigrated to America around the 1980s or 1980s and came up to practice medicine.
What was behind the move for them going from Africa to Alabama, and why Alabama?
Yeah, really, it was just a limitation at the time. It was, better opportunities in the States, and, just to, find opportunity to practice medicine. So they originally came to Mobile, Alabama. My mom originally settled in Alabama to meet my dad in Mobile. My mom originally came from California to visit her brother, and then took a Greyhound bus to Mobile, Alabama to meet my dad. And since then started a life there.
From the stories you've heard from your parents, what was the transition like going from Africa to the U.S.?
As any immigrant story would say, that it's very challenging and very the unknown, but really it's just the hope and the opportunity to make a better life for themselves. That's really what was the driving factor for them to move to the States.
As a kid, what were you like?
Being the oldest, there was a lot of pressure to, follow in footsteps, but luckily I had parents who were always supportive in whatever I did, and they always supported me. And but yeah, I have two younger siblings. One eventually followed in their footsteps, and then I have another sister who is a PhD in robotics. So yeah, it was very lovely. Love to have a close-knit family. Just enjoyed spending time with family. Even to this day, we have family calls that we have every Sunday. So it's a good mix of people that we love to collaborate and just to talk about our life journeys together.
You mentioned following in the family footstep. Was there pressure to become a doctor ever?
Yeah, I think it was more of the expectations that I put up on myself, if anything else. Not necessarily my parents, but really my parents being physicians. My sister eventually did a MD PhD, but it wasn't any pressure on me particularly. It was just more pressure that I put on myself. I initially wanted to go into UAB to study medicine and eventually study surgery. Going to surgery, but eventually decided to make a pivot and go into marketing, and pursue something that was more aligned with creativity. I feel I'm more creative and entrepreneurial than anything else. Not to say you can't be entrepreneur as a physician, but um, I wanted to do something that was more keen to like marketing and business.
You mentioned that you came to UAB initially, kind of to go through that medical path. But let's backtrack just a little bit. Why UAB beyond that? Because there's so many other schools that can prepare you. Why Birmingham? Why UAB?
Yeah, I was attracted to UAB particularly because of the diversity. It's a good mix. It's very much an international city, in my opinion, and I think it was something that attracted me beyond just the medicine aspect. It was just that there was just a diverse, and it was just a bigger city than Montgomery, and I was attracted to that. And I think it's a good place to get your stomping grounds in. So.
You were here on campus right around the 2010 timeframe. What was campus like? I mean, it's only, 14 years later, but it's changed a lot in that decade and a half.
It really has. When I initially went to UAB, it really wasn't as it is today. I mean, it was very much a very urban, very very city-like campus. So it really, the buildings have built up, and I felt like a lot of things have built up since I've been there. Even since I've been there recently, it's just a lot of things have changed. Just the landscape, the greens are still there. A lot of instances where it's like, oh yeah, there's a little bit of what I used to know from campus, but from the buildings and like for example, the business school that I was in wasn't there initially. We were housed at the engineering BEC, so we didn't have a standalone business building. So we would have to track from the Blazer Hall to the BEC, and it wasn't as close as it is today. So
You mentioned that you changed directions, you pivoted. A lot of people do. I did when I was an undergrad. I changed majors. You changed as well. What was the transition going from medical centric to marketing and being able to use those creative juices a little bit more freely?
for me, it was just it was a sense of the self discovery. Understanding that how I was wired, and really not to say that I wasn't good at science. I was really good at science, but really what it was that something that I was more aligned was something that I was more interested in, more aligned with my passions, which was more entrepreneurship. I found myself studying biographies on successful entrepreneurs, and that journey for me was just about like what was something that came more natural to me, something that was more aligned to my interests, and I felt that was the path that I needed to take, was just to pursue a more business centric career.
You talked about reading all those books. Were there mentors on campus in the community that you were leaning on during that time too, when you were a marketing student?
Absolutely. Mickey G was someone that I leaned on. Find myself at UAB. I loved hearing his story and how he started his company, and it was very much a really close knit relationship. I would always go to his office to seek his advice about just telling him what I'm interested in and telling him about what is some of the things that I was wrestling with, like as far as like what I needed to do as far as career and as far as like the major change. And he was all ears, and he was very much a pivotal in making my transition into from medicine to marketing career.
If I remember right, just in reading articles about you, you kind of did entrepreneurship. You did a lot of fun things in college as a student. What kind of things did you do, just to kind of lay the foundation of your career?
Yeah, so I started this company called Artfield Appeal with one other student, and him and I started this company just to get ourselves out there, our name out there. We started this company to lean on the cosplay community and the video game culture, and we created this anime sort of like character called Romoji, and he was supposed to be our mascot. And we went around campus. We had some videos of him dancing to what was it, the Gummy style? I'm probably mispronouncing that, but it was a dance that was very popular in 2012, and we had him around campus and loved to have him meet the students and everything. So it was great.
Do you think that experience that you had with that company and just everything you did with Mickey G helped navigate you towards becoming kind of a, I don't want to say serial entrepreneur, but somebody that likes to dabble in things and start things?
Yeah, I think it was very much a good foundation for me. Just, I tell people if entrepreneurship is a journey, it's no guarantees, but, it starts from somewhere. My first foray was Art Field Appeal, and it gave me the sense that, confidence that, hey, I can start something from scratch and build something, and then it can actually gain traction, and put things out in the world really and getting people receptive. And Mickey G just reinforced that. Every time I went to his office, he gave me this stilled confidence that, there's this is something that I can pursue and something that I can always work on and pivot throughout my journey as an entrepreneur.
You worked in corporate industry for a while, Alagasco, Lewis Communications, Adidas, different places. Are you still in the corporate world today?
I am. I am still working along with, as I'm pursuing my Las Giddy beverage company. I'm still working corporate. This is this obviously this is talk about whether to make the leap and versus staying in your day job, and there's always when to make that leap. And as I'm building the company, I've always wanted to make sure it's at a point where I'm able to make that leap and do it full time. But at this point, I am doing full time at corporate and also building Las Giddy on the side. So it's been a balance, but once I get to Las Giddy at a point, then certainly making that leap.
I'm glad you brought up Las Giddy. This is a beverage that dates back a long time. I mean, it's not just from when you started this company in 2000s. Talk about the origins of the drink, because it dates back to your parents and them in Nigeria.
Yeah, so Las Giddy is based on the Nigerian Chapman, and the Chapman is a mocktail that is originated in Lagos, Nigeria. And the story goes that a Nigerian barman created this drink for an English expat and named it after him, and the drink is named after his name, Chapman. Supposedly his name was Chapman, so the drink was named after him, and the drink has been taken off since then, around 1930s, and has been very much a go-to drink around weddings and parties and festivities in Nigeria. And we wanted to bring that sense of festivity and celebration from Nigeria and bring it to the States, and really create an ethos of a celebration around our brand, Las Giddy.
Do you remember the first time you had a Chapman?
Yes, I'll say my first time in Nigeria was in 2002, and that's when I had my first Chapman at a wedding.
Describe it. What does it taste like? What does it compare to?
It's not necessarily a fruit punch, but it's very citrusy. The original has orange base to it, so grenadine syrup, heuristic bitters, lemon lime, and we have two SKUs, our beverage. So we have the original, which is based on the original Chapman, and then we also have a mango SKU, which is essentially the same but with a mango base to it.
Las Giddy is a company that you started right around 2020. It was right around that COVID time. What went into it, and why did it pop into your head? You know what? Maybe there's a market for this. Maybe this is something we need to explore.
For me, it was just creating a company that was about celebration, as I mentioned, but also around this time about bringing fostering community. And really, what it was that I wanted to bring something that was a piece of my heritage, and then also based on my American experience, and something I can be share with the part of the mosaic of the American culture. And that was something that I stumbled upon because it's something I loved growing up. Every time I visit Nigeria, and it was something that I felt like there was a market. And also the rise of Afrobeats in the States has been something that we wanted to catch the tailwind of. And it was this culmination of things. So Afrobeats and the fact that I wanted to bring something that was from Nigeria into the States, and something that I've always been passionate about was entrepreneurship. And I wanted to merge all of that together and to foster a community around this whole idea of celebration at a time in which people were so isolated at the time. And even though we were 6 feet apart, but I knew that wasn't going to be forever. So it was a culmination of things that I wanted to bring about with this brand and build something that was beyond myself.
A lot of times you can just sit in an office and have a job.
Mhm.
With beverages, you have to can it, you have to market. There's so much going into it. What was it like, and what did you have to do to set up the infrastructure and start selling it?
So we had to, we partnered with a company called Bev Source out of Minnesota, and they helped us really get the ball rolling, really. And really, what it took was just a lot of iterations. It took us 10 iterations to get to the final formulation. And once we had our first production run in February of 2023, we hit the ground running as far as marketing it. And we had our website launch in April, and it took a lot of digital marketing, grassroots implementations as far as just activations on around Birmingham. We're in 6 Piggly stores, so a lot of calling, sort of like cold calling, and a lot of just getting people out there and really getting them to really market our brand. So that's really what it took to get the brand to where it is today.
You ever get nervous and go, man, this is never going to get off the ground?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no guarantees in anything in life, but really it's just a matter of like having the faith that it will gain traction. And really for us, it's just been a matter of like the slow implementation of experiments. So what I mean by that is like, we're introducing an ambassador program in which we're getting students to help market our products. So that's something that we've experimented with and getting things off the ground. But yeah, it just boils down to like, implementation and having experiments here and there and making pivots when things are not working in our favor. So
What's the reception been like so far for Lasky? You've got a great website, you've got it in the pig. What are people saying?
we've gotten a lot of positive reception, especially with our mango SKU. A lot of people love the mango flavor. A lot of people enjoy the story. They love the story behind the brand. They like the packaging. So we've got a good feedback. Not everyone is a fan, but we love the fact that people love the drink and the opening. And but I think that's natural. Not everyone's gonna be receptive to a carbonated soda, but those who do enjoy sodas enjoy it.
What has to happen for you to go, you know what? I'm going to focus on the beverage. This is now an extremely big success, and I'm going to ride this until it ends.
Really, what it would take with me is just to get it to a point where it's like self-sufficient and serving me, and maybe to grow to where it's more than just a beverage and more of a lifestyle brand for myself. And that's been the vision for since day one, is to what Red Bull is to extreme sports. We're trying to be there for the intersection of culture and arts. So really what will be is the opening more accounts in the Southeast, particularly in Atlanta metro, area, and also getting our products into more Piggly Wiggly stores.
There has to be a nice business plan that you have on a document, just knowing, listening to you tell your story through entrepreneurship and marketing. So what is that plan?
Yeah, our plan, 5-year plan and then 10-year plan. So 5-year plan is just to get our products, primarily, like I mentioned, in the Southeast, getting our products more so gaining traction amongst people who are in the diaspora, but also people who are interested or sober curious, and also people who are just interested in ethnic drink. And our 10-year plan is just to grow into more activations, partner with more festival companies, and sponsor a lot of art events.
You mentioned people being sober curious, and this is a non-alcoholic beverage, so people can enjoy it as is. And on the flip side, I've read something where you can use it as a nice mixer, kind of like ginger beer.
You can, yeah. So our drink is non-alcoholic, and we position it as a mixer, but as a standpoint, we position it as a craft soda, as a standalone craft soda. But yeah, it serves really well as a mixer, and it's such a big beauty of it. Like people who are just looking for a drink that's not non-alcoholic, but yet can serve as a mixer too, is good positioning for us.
You've got the 2 SKUs today. When do you change that? When do you start to grow that? Do you consider growing that?
Yeah, we're looking at expanding for sure our line to other flavors. right now we just have the 2 SKUs, but we're certainly looking to opening our line of Chapman line, but also looking at also low cal and low sugar content as well. So we like to think that our current flavors is our original Coke, so to speak, and Pepsi. So we love to like get our products to that point.
A few years ago, you probably had the conversation with your mom and dad, and you had to walk up to them and tell them that you wanted to get kind of into the soda business.
Mhm.
What was it like, having that conversation with them? Was it a difficult conversation? Was it easy because you're a close-knit family?
Yeah, so it really was a good conversation when I had with my dad, just talking about what I had interest in, and also just getting our product to a point where it is today. It really just took the faith and he had in me, and also just the idea of this bridging the Nigerian heritage and American culture of my upbringing. And yeah, the conversation really went well. It just was a matter of just laying out the foundation. So it really was a good conversation that I had with my dad. My dad initially gave me the green light. So
And I do want to bring up Shiganu Delana because he is a guy that is also a UAB alum, and he's your business partner for the beverage company. How did you guys meet?
yeah, we initially played soccer together on the green. This was around 2014, 2015. We actually played pickup soccer. So that's how we initially uh, got connected.
He shares a heritage very similar to you, both being Nigerian, if I'm not mistaken. Did that kind of help in that friendship?
I would say it did. He was familiar with the drink, so that brought some interest there, and he was also interested in just bringing some that was from Nigeria into the states, and so that did play a big factor and role into him contributing and willing to take on the project.
How did UAB and your time in the School of Business help set up the success for Las GD?
A lot of the professors that I had while I was at UAB gave me a lot of insights as what it meant to, like, I had a retail marketing class, so understanding what it took to, you know, the different fundamentals of getting products into retail, and also the fundamentals of like how retail worked. So the business and the networking aspects of UAB allowed me to understand the different elements of entrepreneurship. So it really did lay a foundation of the entrepreneur journey that I'm on.
That's Olu Ogunbi, a 2012 graduate of the Collat School of Business and Honors College, where he earned his undergraduate degree in marketing. On top of his role as a community events coordinator for Baptist Health, he is co-founder of Las GD, a beverage brand that's a take on an iconic Nigerian drink. As someone who shares in UAB's entrepreneurial spirit, Olu has a great idea of what it means to be a blazer.
For me, it's about, going on uncharted course, blazing a path that is uncharted, going the path that's not generally taken. And for me, it's just about just having this courage and instilling yourself a sense of pride in what it means to be, very independent.
Be sure to check out past episodes of the UAB Green and Told podcast. Listen in at alumni.uab.edu/Green and Told. Have a story to share or know someone who does? Email greenandtold@uab.edu. Finally, be sure to follow us on social media. Just search UAB Alumni on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks for listening, and until next time, go Blazers.